Alright, hello YouTube. Since it is Pride Month, currently, I thought it would be a great idea to tell my story that involved, homophobic people. Because, I was thinking, oh, I have this one story involving, homophobic people treating me differently because of my sexuality or the sexuality they believed I had. And yeah, I thought it would be a great idea to spread awareness, I guess. That sounds very cliche, but I don't know how else to say it. I just wanted more people to realize that this type of behavior still goes on in schools. It is 2019, and we've come very far regarding acceptance of LGBTQ plus people. There's like the very fact that we have Pride currently is just amazing. In the past decade, we've come very, very far, and I am so proud and just so happy that more and more young boys and girls are able to express themselves, who are less afraid of coming out of the closet and just, just being themselves. Despite that, on smaller scales, when you zoom in onto actual people and not Twitter, pages, not everyone is as woke as you might hope or believe, expect, whatever the word. A lot of kids and a lot of adults especially are still very ignorant on numerous topics such as this one. And, they don't feel any shame expressing that ignorance onto other people, and it is very hurtful because they most of the time don't get stopped. Whatever, I'm not gonna go into that, but yeah. So yeah, let me just share my story. So this happened about 3 years ago when I was attending Polish school. And the reason I was attending Polish school is because currently I live in Paris, France, and but I have Polish roots, and I speak it. Yeah, I speak Polish with my family, but after years and years of having left my home country, to be honest, I'm starting to forget a few words and phrases, and it's getting harder to communicate. And it's and at the time that was bothering me a little bit, and my mom basically didn't want that to happen. She didn't want me to forget the culture, the history, the everything, basically, who I am. And so she signed me up to go to Polish school on the weekends. So I would have regular classes from Monday to Friday, and then on Saturdays I would go to Polish school. And at first I was like, fuck, a Saturday afternoon, that does not sound fun at all. Basically wasting my whole Saturday because the classes would be right in the middle of the day, like from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. So if I ever wanted to do anything, that was just not possible. But at the time I didn't really care. I thought it would be fun because to be honest, at the time, being a really socially awkward and insecure middle schooler, I didn't have many friends, and so I wasn't missing out on much because I wasn't ever invited anywhere. So yeah, it didn't bother me that much because, I thought, wow, cool. I'm living in a foreign country and everyone around me seems to have the same culture. I'm the only one who has a different one, and it just made me feel kind of bad. But at the same time, it was my little escape, I know something that you don't. And yeah, so I just turned it into a positive thing, and I started going. So the first day I was really, really nervous. because I made it a mission of mine to meet some new people and make friends, because I didn't have many friends at the time. And I was thinking, yeah, well, maybe at least I'll have some friends here. Didn't work out. So yeah, I ended up going to that school for 2 years. And the first day of the first year was really, really stressful, as I said. I just told myself I was gonna try to come up to people, introduce myself, seem like, like easygoing, fun, like make a good first impression. And so I come up to this group of girls and I start talking like, hi, my name is, whatever. My name is whatever. Yeah, well, who are you guys? What year are you in? What's up? And so we start making small talk, and I'm like, oh, this is going great. So I'm like, yeah, this is going great. And then we hear the principal start talking on the microphone, and we're like, oh, he's, giving us this little presentation. He's like, oh, welcome all students for this year. This school is very cool because it's old. Look at this statue. He just starts reading our names off a list and assigning us to classes, and I end up being in the same class as a few girls from that group. So I'm like, yes, cool, like I already introduced myself, it's gonna be easier. So I end up being part of a class of about 15 to 20 people, and the way things were set up is it wasn't actually the students moving around from class to class, but instead it was actually the teachers. So for the 5 hours of school we had, we would just sit in the same room. And between every class we would have like a 5-minute break, just to like run to the bathroom or have like a short conversation. And so during those breaks I would try and, make friends with the girls I already knew and the other girls, I quickly figured out from like listening to them that they already actually knew each other from past years, because most of them were in that school since elementary, which, first of all, yikes. I can't imagine. I cannot imagine doing that. But yeah, so they knew each other, they had this great bond and whatever, and I was like, well, shit, I guess I'm the new girl then. Because I thought that everybody would be new at first, but, I was like, well, shit, whatever, they must understand, they've been new somewhere at least once in their lives, so at least one person will be nice to me, nice enough to, like, show me around and introduce me to their friends. Nope. That did not happen. I was definitely on my own. Yeah, so, like, the thing is, with these girls, I would always do my best to come out of my shell and out of my comfort zone to be their friend, because at the time I was very, very insecure, very introverted, very socially awkward, which I still am, but day by day I am working towards being more open. See, proof! Today I am filming a YouTube video. So after filming this, I'm gonna be on my computer for several hours, editing myself, looking at my face, and trying not to, chicken out and actually post it. Wish me luck. I mean, you can't really wish me luck, because if I chicken out, you're never gonna see this, but yeah, if you are seeing this, then please congratulate me in the comments. That'll really make my day. So anyway, back to the story. Yeah, so at the time, I was really, really socially awkward, and basically what I would do is, in my head, I would be convincing myself that the reason I have no friends is, it's entirely my fault, because I'm just, like, whatever, like, annoying and shy, and, I'm too scared to open up to people, so that, like, kind of pushes people away, because, like, when you're, like, trying to talk to someone and they don't really talk back, like, you're having a conversation with yourself, that's not fun at all. So I was like, well, maybe I am that person, and that's why, I just didn't have any luck. So, like, I have to change this, I'm gonna be the star. Well, maybe not the star, but I'm just gonna be like a normal teenager and just start, talk like teenagers talk, and, they'll like me. So basically, on every break, what I would do is I would just mentally prepare myself to get up from my chair, confidently walk over to the group of girls that were talking, and just say hello. That is the only expectation I gave myself at the time, because I knew that was already gonna be hard enough. So yeah, after some mental preparing, I would finally go. I would walk, and I would just freeze in front of them for a while. Like, should I say it? Should I say it? Just thinking of how to get the tone of hi just right. And eventually it would come out, I would be like, hi guys. And nothing would happen. Nobody would respond to my hi guys. So I would just kind of stand there and be like, what's happening? And then I would say it again, like, hi. I would get nothing except maybe one person like giving me a little side eye, like, who is that? Or people just completely pretending like they didn't hear me and just continuing with their conversation. So yeah, after a while I would be like, I would like get it and just turn around, just look up at the ceiling so the tears wouldn't fall down my face, and I would just sit down back into my chair, pull out my phone, and pretend nothing happened. Cool, right? At the time, in general, I am a very, dramatic and sensitive person, and, I'm mature enough now to, like, finally see that and admit that. So, just, like, before going to that school, I would, like, have a lot of, vent to people many times, and more often than not, people would just tell me, like, you're thinking too much about it, like, you're like feeling sorry for yourself, like not everything is about you. And that would like hurt, like, what? And I started to really take that in and think like, well, shit, maybe they're right, maybe these people didn't hear me, and like I'm over here like crying in the corner like a little baby, or maybe they were just having a private conversation and I was just this annoying girl who like came over like, what are you guys doing? I was like, well, shit, maybe I'm the one being rude, like, whatever, I'll just try again next time. So I would try again and again and again, and eventually people would like start remembering my face popping up, and would like, remember my name. Like first they would ask for it and they would like start remembering it, so yeah, and they would like say one or two things to me to just seem polite, and I was like, well, that's a step, but it actually never went further than that. I would never be a part of their actual conversation, or no one would ever like ask me questions to try and make me come into the conversation. Like, I don't know if everyone does this or whatever, but I'm just the type of person to, be empathetic towards people, like, trying to, like, be part of of a discussion, like, I just notice people like that in the corner, like, it's like new people, I'm just like, what is that? Like, I just make an effort to be like, oh, so what do you think about this? Or like, oh, you told me you've been there, like, so can you tell us about it? Or fucking anything, to make the person feel like present. That's the word, present. I never felt present around these people. They would just, like subtly tell me to fuck off, and I was just, I guess, I just didn't read the signs right. I just thought that, I was just being naive, like, well, you know, not everything is about me, the world doesn't spin around me. Maybe they're just not thinking about me all the time, like, oh my god, how is this new girl feeling right now? Maybe she's like a little sad because we haven't said anything to her for the past 20 minutes and she's just been like looking at us. And maybe they're not thinking that. I would just never feel like I was a part of whatever they had, like I was always excluded. But I'm more of an introvert than an extrovert, and sometimes I just don't feel like talking sometimes, and I'd rather just sit there and listen to people, so some days would go by better than others. But yeah, still, every single time I was there, I had this voice in my head that was telling me that, because I haven't said anything for a while, that nobody cared that I was there, and everybody forgot that I was there. So, yeah, I would just basically bully myself. So that's cool. But, after a while, I finally got the message, kind of, I was like, well, okay, they have their tight little clique, and they don't really want anyone else in it, which is okay, I guess. Pretty rude, to be honest, to, leave someone out for no reason, but whatever. I'm just thinking, yeah, not everyone is constantly, thinking about me. Everyone, I was just thinking, maybe, they just have their own thoughts, they're distracted about with whatever they're doing. Like, maybe it's not, like, on purpose, and people aren't just, like, constantly like, well, let's do whatever we can so this random girl that we never talked to fucks off, Maybe it wasn't malicious, basically. Okay, fuck. It's the next day. It is the next day. I am finally, I promise, I am finally getting to the end of this video. Okay, so, I think I was at the point where, yeah, they just, like, didn't want to talk to me. So, at that point, I would just, on breaks, I would just, sit in my chair and, pull out my phone and do some drawings, or, like, watch a show, listen to some music, and that's basically how I would make time pass. And then, the school would organize these, dances, Every time there was, like, a holiday of any sort, they would, like, organize, a dance, after school, Basically, they would just get the biggest room in the school, take out the chairs and tables, set up some decorations, and, put on some music. So I was like, well, it's free, and it's an opportunity to maybe see the girls from my class in a different light, like, they'll be a little bit more loose, maybe, I don't know, you're just, like, you're used to, like, seeing people in context in life, like, you see some people at school and they're really cool, but then you hang out with them outside of school and it's just really awkward, stuff like that. So I was thinking, well, maybe if it's in the context of, like, just dancing, having fun, whatever, that they're gonna be different, Or I thought that if they're still bitches, then, I'll meet other people, you know. So I go, and yeah, it goes horribly wrong. You know, I kind of do this thing as you do while you're dancing. You just kind of like come up to a group of people and start moving, you know, with them, and you just kind of hope that someone is gonna like get it, you know, and start dancing with you, because you can't really talk, like that's like, you know, like club etiquette, you know, like you don't come up to someone's ear and you're like, you wanna dance together? I mean, some people do that, but they are considered creeps, you know. Normal people just like start getting closer to you, start dancing, and they try and feel for your reaction, you know. And their reaction was negative, as per usual. They, you know, no one danced with me, and instead they just, you know, formed this tight little circle, you know, very, very tight, as to make sure that I couldn't penetrate it at all. So I was just kind of like, okay, well, alright. And I ended up just kind of like standing off to the side, drinking some Coke and going on my phone. So after that, time went by, and, you know, things would kind of get a little better, you know. I would like, you know, one time you know, a teacher was absent, so we left school and we all went to a park together. I got to sit with them and talk with them, so I thought things were going great. And then I got a few phone numbers from girls from the class, and I was like, okay, well, something's happening. And one day I asked this one girl for her number, and I think that she, like, I asked her for her number, but she offered to get mine instead, which is, you know, like a trick, you know. If you don't want to text someone, you ask them for their number so they can't text you. Yeah, and so I give her my number, and then the bell rings and we sit in class, you know. I don't remember if it was that same day or the week after, but let's just say it was the same day. Yes, I'm just sitting in class, you know, just really, really bored, and I hear my phone buzzing, you know. I mean, I feel it. I feel my phone buzzing, and since I'm really bored, I like check it, and it's a message from a number I did not recognize. So I'm like, oh, it must be this girl, you know. Like, I just gave her my number, so she's texting me, but I'm like, why is she texting me in the middle of class though? Like, it's weird. But, you know, maybe she is also bored, you know. Maybe she also just wants to talk to someone. I don't know. And so, you know, I answer, you know. I'm like, who is this? And the person like says something along the lines of like, take a guess. And I'm just kind of like, oh, okay, someone wants to be cheeky with me for some reason. And I'm like, okay, you know. So I just kind of like turn around to like look at that girl to see if she's like, you know, she's like smiling at me or if she's typing on her phone. But she was not at all. She was like taking notes, listening to the teacher, looking straight ahead. So I'm just kind of like, okay, weird. So I keep texting this person, like, no, for real, who is this, blah, whatever. Stupid shit. And I turn around again to, you know, maybe this time I'll catch her in the act. Maybe she was pretending it wasn't her, but it was. And still, no, it was not her. So I'm just thinking, well, okay, if it's not her, then it must be someone from my other school, you know, because, like, it was middle school, and that's what middle school kids do. They have nothing to do, so they go and ask a friend of a friend of a friend to give them someone's number and just, like, text them stupid shit for, I don't know, for shits and giggles, I guess. So I was just kind of like, okay, well, whatever. I don't really care. But it was fun, you know. It was fun. I was really bored and lonely at the time, so it was really fun to just have someone like really interested in talking to me, you know, which is really sad. But yeah, it was the first time I ever got that kind of attention in that school and in a while in general. And so I just kept talking to this person, and eventually I ran out of texting. I reached my limit, so I had to go buy more. And so finally the bell rings, and it was the last one, so we're all like going home. And I just run to the nearest shop where you can buy that, and I get like €5 of texting, and I type the code in, and I start I continue texting this person because I was really interested in who it was. So I get on the train home, and after a while, the messages start getting really sexual and creepy. This person is telling me that they are a boy, that they're a year above me in my school, that they're black, and that they basically, yeah, they know who I am, and that they really like me, and they're telling me all the things they would like to do to me, like very disgusting stuff. And I'm just kind of like, I'm thinking, well, okay, it's a middle school kid. He just found out about sex like a few years ago, and he's just trying to show off all the things he knows. I guess I don't know what that was, but but I was like, okay, I get it, but it's really inappropriate because I don't know you. Like, it would be different if I was your friend, and still. Okay, so yeah, so then the messages, like, persist, they keep going, and the person starts going into great detail about, like, things they're gonna do to me, because they told me that, they have followed me home from school before, and that they know what my mom looks like, and what my siblings look like, what my baby sisters look like. They said all of that, and they're telling me, yeah, so one day in the near future, when when I'll be walking home, they are gonna grab me and take me to their basement, lock me up, and do stuff to me, basically. And yeah, and at that point, I like start getting pretty scared, but I'm still like, okay, maybe it's just. I'm still like, well, maybe it's just a stupid kid playing a prank that's going, like, too far, because at the time, I had just broken up with, like, my first little boyfriend of 2 weeks, and, and he was really horrible, a bully and stuff, and yeah, so, like, I broke up with him, and he just couldn't take it, and so he would just, just go and tell all my business to everyone and spread rumors about me and, bully me, basically. And so I was thinking, okay, well, maybe this is his next idea, like, he asked, like, maybe it's him, or maybe he asked someone else to basically try and spook me through the phone, So I'm just like, okay, maybe it's fine. So eventually I get home, and this person wants to call me. So I'm like, fuck. But I'm like, okay, well, maybe I should accept the call so at least I can hear the person's voice, So maybe I'm thinking, like, maybe I'll pick up the phone and it'll be my ex-boyfriend, and he's gonna be like, got you, and I'll be like, fuck you. Or maybe it'll be someone else's voice that I'll recognize, and I'll just, like, call them on their bullshit, like, stop, So I answer, and I don't recognize the voice. The voice was, like, really, really weird. It was, like, deep, but high at the same time, like, yeah, I don't know how else to explain it. But I was thinking, well, okay, well, if it's really a middle school kid, then I guess that's, like, normal. His voice box is going nuts, and, he just, like, sounds weird, so I'm not gonna judge him for that. So I ignore it, and they keep talking, like, basically, yeah, I would love to like, damn, okay. And, I'm just getting, just like biting my nails off just listening to this and trying to remember as much as possible so I can go and tell my mom. So eventually I hang up, even though this person told me not to hang up. I finally did, because they were just repeating themselves. And, I hang up and I run to my mom, and, I tell her everything, and obviously, like she should, she takes it very seriously, and, and she goes and tells my stepdad, and my stepdad calls the number, and it goes to voicemail, and the voice on the voicemail is just this really high, innocent little voice, like, "Hello, you've reached the voicemail of Gabriel. Please leave a message." So we're just kind of like, Gabriel, who's Gabriel? And I'm just thinking, well, I know a guy named Gabriel who has a really high voice, and he's friends with the other guy I mentioned, so maybe it's him, but like, why? I don't know, and we're thinking, like, fuck, like, this is like very, like, actual serious harassment, so we're just like, we're thinking of getting, first of all, the person's parents involved, calling them to the school, and, like, even the police, because, like, fuck, this is unacceptable behavior, and, yeah, and we're just getting ready to, like, we're just thinking, and finally, I see a light show up above my head. I have this realization that the girl I gave my number to that day, her name is Gabriella. Is anyone surprised? I don't think so. Yeah, so I realized that, and, all of a sudden everything made sense. The, like, really weird voice, it was just her, like, trying to sound like a boy, and, I was definitely, first of all, relieved, I guess, that it wasn't a real stalker, creep, sexual predator. But on the other hand, I was just really, really disgusted and disappointed. I just felt very stupid and very naive that, I thought that we were gonna be friends. I thought things were going in the right direction. And I just couldn't understand how, how a fellow young girl would so unapologetically make another fear for her life and her safety. I just don't think that's funny, ever. But I guess some people do. Because of course it wasn't just her, and God knows none of those girls had brains of their own, so it was probably a collective idea. And I just kind of felt like, wow, really, fucking really, So I tell my mom, and she calls that number, and Gabriella answers, of course. She didn't recognize the number, so, so she answered, and she's like, "Hello?" And my mom, tells her what this is about. She's like, "Yeah, I'm Natalia's mother, and I would like to speak to your mother immediately." And this is the funny part. Obviously, this girl was really scared. You could really hear her shit her pants through the speaker, which was hilarious. And this girl decides, in the heat of the moment, doesn't know what to do, she's like, okay, I'll go get her right now, you know? And she like walks off, comes back a minute later, puts on a different voice, and she's like, hello, this is Gabriella's mother, what's this about? And my mom just like cracks up, and she's like, little girl, please stop playing and give me your mom's number. And she's just like, okay, I'm sorry. So she gives her mom's number, and my mom calls her, and yeah, I wasn't part of this conversation, by the way. And yeah, and then the next week I come back to that school. I'm just waiting for class, and you know, lo and behold, the girl, she comes up to me with this little bag in her hand, and with like in her sweet little voice, she's like, hey, I just wanted to apologize, and, you know, give you this, you know. And she gives me the little bag, and I open it, and it's like a little ring, and I'm just kind of like, thanks. And, yeah, it was a relief that at least her mother wasn't also crazy, and, you know, probably yelled at her and made her buy me a gift, which I thought was funny. But yeah, it did not help with anything, actually. I wore the ring once because I thought it was cute, and then I lost it. And yeah, when she gave me that ring, I just kind of said thanks and walked away, you know. I wasn't gonna forgive this bitch, like, no way in hell. I don't like no, after like this is like your first impression, like this is what you're like showing me that you are, you know. And yeah, I just, from that point on, so yeah, that was incident number 1. And if you've gotten this far in the video, first of all, thank you so much. I don't know how to edit, so this is probably not gonna be very, you know, entertaining, but I'm gonna do my best. And yeah, if you are here, you're probably wondering, okay, well, you know, but what does this have to do with homophobia? Like, of course, what happened to you was horrible, but how is this homophobia? Don't worry, it's coming right now. So just keep on watching. Yeah. So, you know, then the summer holiday goes by, and the next year starts. And basically what happened is, we ended up getting the bigger room, the one in which they hosted the parties, and so we could have, like, there were more seats, more space. So what the school ended up doing basically is they took 2 smaller classes and they put them together. So, like, instead of, like, being 15, we were now 30. So I was like, wow, cool, new people, new chances to make friends, because I knew that I was not gonna pursue a friendship with those other girls anymore after what happened, you know. Because, I don't know, I'm just not the type of person to... first of all, I'm not the type of person to, like, let people hurt me like that for absolutely no reason, just for their own, to please their own, you know, twisted idea of humor, and you get my point. And second of all, I'm just not that attached to people, you know. I would rather be lonely or alone than have you as my friend.